Okay. So I think we shall be starting now, and welcome everyone. And again, hello and welcome to the Data Chip Chronicles webinar. And so my name is Elloumi, and I define myself as a data artist. I'm also in charge of the data practice at HumanTech Partners. So today I'm very much excited to start and launch with you this Data Chip Chronicles, which is a webinar series about data management and AI. During our sessions, what we try to have is diverse subjects on AI and data matters to help first create a solid community and learn from each other, and also to showcase you and to show you what the real world is now at. So today's webinar is a very special one. It's our first one. And since it's our first one, we have a very special guest with us, a cloud solution and data and AI architect from Microsoft, talking to us from Paris right now, Amar Adghar. So welcome, yes. Amar, and thank you for accepting the invitation.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm happy and really excited to be with you, and hope you will enjoy this session and you will learn with us, and don't hesitate to ask us some questions in the conversation.
Yes, thank you very much. So today, yes, the subject is Microsoft Fabric. And now that we established that, let's see what you can expect in today's webinar. So today's webinar, we'll be talking about why, the context. Why are we talking about Microsoft Fabric? Once we establish that, we will go to what is Microsoft Fabric. And finally, we will go to the most exciting part for me, which is the components and experiences of Microsoft Fabric with live demos from Amar Adghar from Microsoft. So now let's dive into the why. And before starting to introduce Microsoft Fabric, we need to know why are we now talking about this kind of solution. So I'm sure if you probably worked in data for some time, you've seen diagrams like this. Something like that describes the data architecture, the data stack, the data ecosystem in an enterprise. You see too many artifacts, too many technologies, too many paradigms, too many concepts. And for a developer, a new joiner, an analyst, data engineer, this is very much confusing, especially when we first go into the enterprise. And also for an IT administrator, this is also confusing. I mean, how many tools can I govern at once? How many tools can I manage? And also for the financial administrator, how many licenses are we buying? Do we need all this? So these are very interesting questions. And even, let's say, if we are today on the Azure stack, what we will have, we will have something that is looking like that. Imagine we have different teams, and each team, has its own preferred stack and tools. Let's say for data ingestion, the HR department will use Azure Data Factory. For the sales or marketing, they use Event Streaming Hub. And then for the data storage, they use Data Lake, Blob Storage, Azure SQL Managed SQL, and many tools. So this will lead directly to data silos. And then what we'll have is the data engineering team copying data from one storage point to another one. And then this data is also copied by data scientists to be analyzed. And finally, maybe some Power BI users will have this data on another platform to visualize it. So this is very complex. It is true that it's working. Yes, we agree on that. But how about the complexity of data? What about if tomorrow we're talking, and not tomorrow, today we're talking about the Gen AI, we're talking about Copilot. How can we enhance and really get the most of these tools? The complexity of data processing is only growing, and it's requiring significant maintenance when we are dealing with such tools. And every, let's say, end user will tell you that he's confusing about the data ecosystem, even though we are, let's say, in a modern data stack on Azure. So yeah, this complexity will result only in lack of trust. And even if we try to make some proof of concepts on machine learning, AI, most of cases, it won't go to production. And that's why today we're talking about tools like Microsoft Fabric. So what is Microsoft Fabric? Well, Microsoft Fabric, first of all, is not a platform. It is a software as a service solution. Today in Microsoft Fabric, you'll only need to get to Microsoft Fabric via powerbi.com, and then you will have a set of tools. Well, we will go into that later. But first, let's see how can Microsoft Fabric help solve all these complex issues that I was talking about? So first of all, the one lake. What is the one lake? The one lake is trying today to tell the enterprise, to help the enterprise to make its data reside in one place, eliminating the data silos. And then we will try to only have one single copy of the data set. And I think this is a fundamental principle in Microsoft Fabric. And also we have another thing that is very, very interesting today, which is also the one format in the Delta Parquet format. So the Delta Parquet format is just based on Parquet, it's data compressed as Parquet formats, but also with Delta, we mean we can handle ACID transactions, and not only ACID transactions, but time travel. And later on, with Amar, we will dive into these subjects. So yeah, and what Fabric allows us to have also is a unified user experience. I mean, yeah, we will have all these stars, as you can see, Data Factory, Event Streaming Hub, data warehouses, Synapse Engineering, Power BI, all of that in one interface, accessible via one link. So this will certainly leads us to improve data governance and discoverability. And finally, one monitoring hub. So for the IT administrator, it's going to be easy to govern, let's say, the accesses, the users, and everything happening in this software. And for the financial administrator, the one licensing structure is going to be a relief. And for that, believe me, it is true. So Microsoft Fabric, to resume, aims to make a new way of saying things, of new way of handling the data in one analytics platform. And it covers everything from data ingestion, data storage, data manipulation in a comprehensive suite of services. And I'd like to express them as the stars of Microsoft. So instead of having too many, let's say, tools, too many vendors, now with Microsoft Fabric, you can enjoy a highly integrated environment and set of tools in one environment, in one interface. And I think this will lead us directly to the Microsoft Fabric experiences. Let's talk about these stars of Microsoft Fabric and what we can actually do. So just before moving forward, I don't know if you have already any questions. Amar, if you have anything to add to that. Yes.
No. It was perfect for me. It's as you said, the SaaS solution. What it means that let's say, for example, you have your local computer. You need to install your Excel version or Office version on it. So you need in your local computer, you will need to handle your update of Windows, update of Excel, or even migrate your Excel if you want the last version. This is what we call the IaaS solution. And in the PaaS solution, you only need to handle the updating or migrating your Excel version. You don't need to be aware of the Windows update. And SaaS solution is like O365. You directly connect to your web browser and you're up. Here you are. You can play with your Excel file. So really, it's the aim of Microsoft Fabric behind the scene, and we will see it with some demo just in a couple of minutes.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, thank you very much. So meaning that Microsoft Fabric today is taking the simplicity of integration to a whole new level, let's say. So it brings together the new components and existing also component of Azure into one, again, one integrated environment. So these components are presented as experiences. To make it easier for you, these components, you can consider them as apps, as tools, but today we are talking about experiences. And I mean, this is very exciting for me as a data engineer, as a data architect. I really like to dive into that. But first, I believe the most important question for Amar is now, how can we really activate that and getting started with Microsoft Fabric?
Yeah, exactly. So let me share my screen and let me show
Yes.
you how we can do it. Just let me know when you are seeing my screen.
Yes, now we got it.
Okay. Up. Are you seeing my PowerPoint now, guys?
Not yet.
Okay. And now?
Yes, perfect.
Okay.
So now, Amar, you gonna tell us how to, let's say, activate this fabric.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Let's start. First here, as you can see, I'm in the Power BI portal. So the one that I know, I will not be lost and it will be easy. I will go just to the settings in the admin portal. And for that, I need to have the admin rights to activate it. And when I just by clicking on that, if you can see, I will have a new lot of things. The data activator, the fabric item that will allow us to create the different usage like data engineer and even environment Spark if we want to bring our Spark environment inside Fabric, for example, some library. And as you can see, I start to activate it just by clicking in the button. And here I will just make a pause. And you see you can activate it for the whole organization. You can choose some specific group. Let's say, for example, you want to enable Fabric only for your data engineer, like that, your Power BI developer or your citizen developer who used with Power BI will not see anything new. They will still in the Power BI portal as usual they have. So, and you can even exclude some group if you want, for example. And now I will just activate it one by one. And as you can see in the top right of the button, you will see tenant settings uh, can be applied like 50 minutes. But you know what? I'm not a patient person, so I will just clear all this notification and I will actualize my Power BI web page.
So
And
this is just the worst case scenario for 15 minutes,
yeah,
I believe. Yes,
exactly. Totally agree. And you see, as you can see on the bottom left of my web page, I will have a new button. And in this new button, if I click on it, I will have the whole experience, the data factory, data activator, and so on.
perfect.
So this is how we can activate Microsoft Fabric. Now, let's say I want up to add a workspace. Here we will show how to, in Power BI, you used to create some workspace to affect this workspace into the Power BI Premium capacity or Pro or even PPU. Here I will show you how we can activate
If I
the,
may add, Amar, yes, about the
yes,
workspaces. So actually, the workspace for those who doesn't really understand and have a comprehensive idea of what a workspace is. So it should make it really, really simple. A workspace is a collection of the items that you will be using. So before in Power BI, we used to have the semantic models, the data sets, and the reports and the dashboards. And today, in Microsoft Fabric, we'll have something new. And also, I can see something else that is the domain.
yeah,
So yeah,
exactly. The domain is totally related to the data mesh architecture. In fact, in the tenant settings, you can create a domain, let's say, for example, financial domain, marketing domain, and so on, giving some rights directly into the domain, and here attach your domain to the workspace. So the data mesh architecture is totally enabled, and you can organize your workspace by domain and then playing with your data mesh architecture. Yeah, you're right. Good point as well. And even to simplify that, I like to see the workspace like my folder. And what I found inside is subfolder. When I'm in my local computer, for example, you will have log folder, and I will organize my file Excel, my Word file, and here is the same thing. It's only a folder where you can organize your, as you said, your semantic model, or previously was called the data set, your Power BI report, your data flow, and other stuff. I like to see it's like folder. And now if you click on it, I name it demo load. Here I can make some context lists if I have any if I have any issues or other thing. Here you see I just click on fabric capacity and I add my fabric capacity. I can add another fabric capacity here if I have another one. So you can choose any capacity. For example, you can have one capacity for your development environment, one capacity for your pre-prod, and so on. And here, by clicking more in my workspace, I will find the whole new experience. Data activator, data engineering for the data engineer, data factory. It's my ETL. I can here with my data science part, our notebook, work with ML model. My data warehouse is for the DBA who used to work with SQL or other people, Power BI, and the KQL.
So these are the fabric items, let's say.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's the new fabric item, except of Power BI that we know,
Yes.
but yes, exactly. And here
And
you can,
also,
yes, go ahead.
yes, and so to mention, I mean, the workspace allows you to, as you said, but to highlight that, to manage the access, to manage the security and the governance inside it.
Yeah, exactly. And you have other
Okay.
ways as well. You can, as I said before, with domain, with workspace,
Yes.
giving some different access, contributor, only viewer, and so on. You can even, as you said, give some access with item fabric. Let's say I have a lot of Power BI report inside my workspace. I can give only the access of one report for some people. So you have different ways to manage your security and even your governance. Yes, as you said. So here, after doing this, let's talk about the lakehouse. Yes, Ayman, you said that the lakehouse is, you talk about the one lake. The one lake, in
Yes.
fact, in terms of architecture, is nothing more than an Azure Data Lake Gen 2. The whole thing is built on this one lake. So everything except the semantic model, everything that we will put inside will be in this one lake. It centralizes the whole our data. And on top of that, I will have some different experiences. And here I will show you how to really, with some clicks, create your lake house.
Yes. So the lake
And as you,
house.
yeah, it's a lake house.
Yes.
It's like a data lake.
Yes.
But as you can see, just by one click, I name it my lake house, and I already created my lake house.
It's perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
So just for the viewers, also for the lake house. I mean, today we're talking about a new ways of architecture, the medallion
Yes.
architecture. Yes. So the best practices to use a lake house is to use it inside the medallion architecture. And what the medallion architecture is basically to having separated layers inside your lakehouse. Let's say you have some bronze layer for the raw data, the silver layer for the refinement data, some enrichment, and finally the gold layer for even more enriched layer for reporting or ML purposes. But however, these are only the best practices, meaning that there is a flexibility and you can add more layers like maybe raw data or even platinum layer if you want. So yeah, this is about the lake house. I wanted to add and highlight that for those who are not really familiar with the concept of lake house.
Yeah, exactly. And here I'm showing to you that that when I create my lakehouse, it will come with some other stuff. The SQL endpoints. The SQL endpoint is made, for example, if you want to bring a third tool to connect a third toolbar inside your lakehouse, you can connect it through this SQL endpoint, and you will have a default semantic model. And here I will show you one way to upload data. Yes, there are different ways to bring data, as you will see here. And here I will show you first. One easiest way is to upload directly file. You can directly upload your file from your local computer, as I'm doing here. I will just upload some file directly. Up data.csv. Up. I take an overwrite if it exists. And here, as you can see, it's already done. It's already uploaded the file. And you have as well an external component. It's called Explorer One Lake. You can use it and you can as well synchronize the both. And here, as you can see, you can as well play there, add your upload file there. And here, just by one click, I will create my Delta Lake table. When you see load to table, it means create my Delta Lake table behind the scene. And as you can see, the separate, I will rename my table. The separate is a comma, and I use the header as column names. See, without
Okay.
any code, anything, I already load one CSV file, and I already create my Delta Lake file, sorry, behind the scene.
So for those who are used to creating Delta tables, you see not 3 lines of code, it's just double click, 2 clicks, and you just made it. I mean, before you used to import the file, read the file, make a data frame, and then write it as a Delta. So this is, I mean, yeah, this is great from Fabric.
Yeah, really easy with some click button, and I can do it. And now, as you can see, I can go and have a preview of my data. And now we see another way, but let's say we see how to upload the file, but let's say different others way. We have new shortcut, DataFlow Gen2, we'll see it just later, but now we will go to see a new data pipeline. A data pipeline is really like data factory, so we will not be lost. As you can see, I will click on get new pipeline. I will rename it, and up behind the scene, I will have a data factory pipeline that will be created for me. Just really with click. I didn't need to go to Azure to pop up an Azure data factory and right click in a pipeline and start
Okay.
developing. Here directly from my lakehouse, I get the data, and by clicking, I will create behind the scene a pipeline. And here you see you have different ways to connect. You have as well some example of data source if you want to practice. And just next, you have a different source, same that you will find in Azure Data Factory. And here for the example, I will use Azure SQL DB. I will go and I will grab different connection string that I need. As you can see, for example, here, my server name, it's an Azure SQL single database behind the scene, but it works with any other type of SQL. And I will grab the name of my database. And I'm creating a new connection. I can use Data Gateway since 25 March. You can use Data Gateway if you want to break the on-premise. And you have, and as you see, you have different ways to connect. And I choose the organizational. The great thing that even you can use the SPN, Service Principal Name behind the scene. It's really a great option. I like it.
Okay. So I have a question for you, Amar, now. So
Yeah.
as I can see, it's almost the same experience as the data factory, but is it really the same? There is no difference between the both. Are there any limitations maybe in here? So yeah.
Not really limitation, but yeah, there are some kind of difference. In fact, you will in terms of UX, it's not the same. You see here,
Yeah.
I pop up directly from the lakehouse, but I can as well go into the data factory part experience and clicking on pipeline. So it will not be the same as I need to go in Azure to pop up an Azure data factory and add my pipeline. But behind the scene, as you will see, it's really the same as Azure Data Factory where you're inside the pipeline. As you see, it's really the same, no difference, just UX matter behind the scene.
Mm.
But here, as you can see, when I click, you can change the name, playing with the timeout, the source, and so on. And really, in some click, I already upload the file from my local as easy as that, and I'm starting to load data from Azure SQL DB, and you can use Gateway again since 24th March, and here it is. I have my my Delta Lake file, sorry, behind the scene already done. So it's one way, but we have as well another way. It's DataFlow Gen2. I think that you know the DataFlow Gen1, and the
Yes.
difference, yes, and it will be the same. But let's see if really it will be the same.
Okay.
Here, this time, I will try to load, I will go through the experience of Data Factory. I will not go through my lakehouse. And as you can see, you can choose Data Pipeline here as well, or Data Flow Gen2. And or even you can go through come back to your workspace, click a new more option, or here I have it directly. And here I will click DataFlow Gen2, and directly behind the scene it will create me a DataFlow Gen2, and I can start work with it.
Yes, I need to highlight that. As you can see, for now, I need to really highlight on that we are on the same UI. We are on the same interface. We didn't go to any other link. I mean, one interface, and you can have it all, let's say.
Yeah, exactly. And as you can see, even in DataFlow Gen2, you have a bunch of connector. And let's say this time I will load some data from my SQL database on-premise. You see, I have my beautiful Contoso database, the one that SQL BI, the people who know SQL BI will know it. Up and here, answering the connection. Up, I already did it, but I will edit it to show you. You have different way, basic, organizational account, service principal. You even have a Windows because you will connect to your local. But for simplicity, I choose SQL admin, and here I have my on-premise gateway that I call gateway demo, and I will choose. And here you can choose different way to connect: private way, public way, so anyone can attack, or organizational way, so only the people that are in organizational can open a connection into your source. That is what it means. And behind scene, I will load, let's say if I remember well, I will go and load fact online sales, a huge fact table.
Okay.
And here, just by clicking on creating, let's say, hop, bada boom, I already have my fact online sales, and I can play the same way that the people are used to play with the Power Query from Power BI desktop or Power BI or DataFlow Gen1 in the online service story, and in the right you can see you have different steps that you can apply, and I will go to apply different steps. For example,
Amar,
yes.
Yes, sir, go ahead. I just saw something that is not really in the DataFlow Gen1.
Oh, you mean the difference between DataFlow Gen1 and Gen2?
Yeah, I can see there is a data destination in there, which is not in the DataFlow Gen1. So that's quite new, let's say.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. And you will see at the end the different data flow, different destination that we have right now, but you will have more later on. Just need to be patient. And even that, as you can see, I removed colon as easy as that. So really the same experience of the Power Query that we used to play. And here we'll go change the type and so on. And at the end, yes, exactly, Ayman, I will show you the different data destinations that we have. We have 4 data destinations, and it's one of the biggest difference of DataFlow Gen 1.
Yeah.
And here, as you can see, by clicking in the button, we will have Azure SQL DB, we have LakeHouse, Azure Data Explorer, ADX for the people who knows, and our warehouse in Fabric. We will have other things that are coming, but later on.
And please, excuse me to interrupt you, but
Yeah,
also
go
I've
ahead.
seen another thing. And I mean, now I'm talking about this, maybe we will be having 2,000 followers at this exact moment, but I see something that is there. It's green. It's called Copilot. I saw it. And I really don't know about it already.
Yeah, let's make some spoiler on that. Just at the end,
Okay.
I will do you an demonstration with Copilot how we can play with DataFlow Gen2 and Copilot as well. But we will see it at the end. Let's keep the
Okay.
surprise at the end. And
So
here, as you
stay
see,
tuned.
yeah, exactly. And here,
Yeah.
as you see, I haven't make any connection. He automatically recognize my different lakehouse. I choose my lakehouse. I can change the source type if I want just here, and bam, save settings, and it will be create my data flow Gen2, and it will start to load my data into my lakehouse. So we saw 3 ways. We saw the way to upload data, we saw data, the pipeline, and we saw the Gen2 right now.
Yes, and yes, that brings us to a very important question, and I think.
Okay,
I mean,
go
now
ahead,
all
go
the
ahead.
data, I mean, all the data now we're seeing is easily integrated via Data Factory, either data pipeline or Gen2, DataFlow Gen2. But let's say my data is stored in another account, cloud storage, let's say S3 bucket or maybe GCP. So
What?
I believe there
Okay.
is a way to connect this data to Microsoft Fabric.
Yes, totally. But why you don't have your data in our cloud storage? Just joking. No worries.
I
It's
mean,
fine.
it's complicated.
Yeah, I can understand totally. But yes, as you said, there are as well another way, and we call it shortcut. And let's say how shortcut work. So yes, as Ayman, you said, you can have your data in S3 bucket, and you can have even in Google Storage since 25 March. And here I will create a shortcut. What it means? It means it keep your data inside your S3. Here I will do it for Azure Data Lake Gen2. And we have Google Storage again since 25 March. It will keep your data into your storage, and it will go directly inside your storage and read your data. So you even don't need to bring your data inside. Why? Because, for example, I will make another spoiler. We can use it for a direct link that we will call just a little bit after. So yes, you can bring
Okay.
your data for making your Power BI report directly with shortcut. And here, as you can see, I tried to change the name, but you see, as because I have admin access, again he will create me. But no worries, you have as well for the you have organizational account, SPN, and the other SAS key, account key as well if you want to bring your key. And here, just next, and as you can see, it directly connect me to my
So
to my data lake Gen2, sorry,
yeah. So
from
just to be
Azure.
clear,
Yes, go ahead.
the data that you're now handling is physically not on the one lake. It's still on the other data lake Gen2, but yet we can still view it and serve it in Power BI, for
Exactly,
example.
exactly,
Okay.
exactly. Totally agree. Here, my I rename it by Dim Store, and this is Dim Store is stored physically inside my data lake Gen2, not in my
One lake.
Microsoft Fabric. I'm just going to read from Microsoft Fabric to my data lake Gen2. And here you see the difference when you see the small image that you will have if you have your shortcut. But I will show you again that it works as well for CSV file or other stuff like that. And here, this time, I will go to bring a CSV file, always in the same data lake Gen2, always in the same, guys, no new one. And why you can do that? Because sometimes think about your network latency. Okay, you are reading your data lake, my Delta file directly through my data lake Gen2, but I can have some latency. Other way to play or to overcome that is to bring your CSV file. Here, as you can see, I have my fact sales in store as well, and I will directly bring my fact sales and load it into a Delta Lake. This Delta Lake table will be stored in Microsoft Fabric. So see, you have really two ways to store your shortcut, your data from Microsoft Fabric. We saw as well, again, data pipeline, DataFlow Gen2 is more for citizen developer or for Power BI developer, I say. And we saw shortcut.
Yes, so now, as you just said, we've seen like how to import data easily for citizen developers or people, I should say maybe some people like me, and I believe like you, who locally like really coding, some SQL, some Python. I believe there is a way to make it happen.
Yeah, exactly. And
Uh,
you say it. I like develop. I like to play with notebook or even SQL query. And I start my career with playing with some SQL query. And yes, we
yes.
have other ways. Is what we called notebook. And here I will show
Okay.
you how we can play with notebook, making some different transformation. And here I will take my last example, the one that I make shortcut through the CSV and upload my data. And as you can see, I can directly create a new notebook. I can go and rename it, and that's what I will do. I will call it new fact table if I remember well, and I will start to make some changes. You can even load your data through your notebook as well. It's another
Exactly.
option that you can do. Yes.
Mm,
And here,
yes.
see, I will start to type some Spark code even without coding again.
Yes, and I can see also again how easy it is on the same interface. In one click, you get your notebook.
And exactly. And the best
Yeah.
thing part for me is the way that the cluster will be on. It's really take a few seconds, let's say.
Okay.
See, just 4 seconds for
Nice.
starting your
Yeah.
cluster Spark behind the scene.
Yes, I mean, we're talking about Spark Cluster, exactly. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
this is pretty
Yes.
impressive.
Exactly. And here I will start to play by making different transformation. As you can see, you see here, you can, yeah, I'm seeing my data. Here I just, let me make a pause. Here I drop some column, but here the button inspect is really a great button. It can help you to inspect your data, to profiling your data. For example, he will show you that the sales amount has a lot of data, but has as well some null value. really great point. Just by clicking in this button, you will see the profiling of your data. The same way for the people that choose to use the Power Query again.
Yes.
Really new option, and here I'm saying that my sales amount is in string type, so I will just transform it into into double type, like that. I can make my sum, make my aggregation on it, and I will rename my sales amount and so on.
So please, if any of the viewers have any questions, don't hesitate to
Yeah,
ask.
go ahead. Yes.
Yes, I try to respond to questions while I'm doing demos, and we do both ways.
Yeah, exactly. We can even make a pause for the demo, and
Yes.
I will answer the question if you have any. Don't hesitate, and don't be ashamed. I don't bite. I promise.
Yeah. Me too, to be honest.
Yes, exactly. And here, as you can see, I'm saving my my new table that I call fact_sales sales. I will save it into my into Delta format directly. And Ayman, I believe that we can play with Azure Databricks as well, or not?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, I think when you say you can play with Databricks, I mean we can do some processing with Azure Databricks and directly to Microsoft Fabric.
Yeah, exactly. You can,
Yes,
as you are playing with Azure Data Lake Gen2 or
yes,
S3 or other storage account, you can here play with one lake. For example, your
yeah,
one lake can be your Medallion architecture, as you said earlier, and bring your Azure Databricks and play with it directly.
yeah. So you can like connect data and output, export data to Fabric from Databricks.
Exactly, exactly. So the both way we can have through our notebook experience and even through the notebook experience of Azure Databricks and connecting. So here we'll give you some way to how to transform the data. And now we will see what's new. I need to tell you, it's my really favorite thing in Microsoft Fabric. So let's resume how the way you have to load the data into your semantic model, and again, previously called datasets. So we have the import mode. The import mode is you connect to through your source files or other SQL queries or other things, and you will load the data into Power BI, and after that you will process or refresh your data through your semantic model. And sometimes it can take a huge amount of time. For example, I already saw some 4 hours to refresh on dataset and even 8 hours. But the great thing is you will have some great performance in DAX query. So the end user will be happy because when he click on button, it will be really quick and faster. We have as well direct query. Instead of the import mode, the direct query, as maybe you know, is automatically attack your data source engine, sorry, behind the scene. So what it means? It means that when I have some graph, Power BI and DAX measure, Power BI will transform this DAX measure into the engine of your data source. Let's say some SQL query, and this SQL query will be executed directly into the SQL database, and it will come back into your Power BI. So for that, in terms of refresh, it will be faster than exactly of the import mode, because since your database is already refreshed, the data is already refreshed from DAX query. But instead of the import mode, you will have some latency in the query because it takes time sometimes to transform the DAX query into SQL, and even all the pattern of DAX query will not maybe not can find it into our data source behind the scene. So in Microsoft Fabric, we we take the both and we create what we call a direct link. What's direct link? First of all, direct link is based on only on Delta table. So when you have your Delta table, you can connect through a direct link mode. We will see it just after this PowerPoint, and it will load the data through a caching. So it will cache your data. It will only cache the column that you need for your report. So what it means as when my Delta table is refreshed and when my caching is working, it's like a couple of seconds, my data will be up to date. So it will be, let's say, near real time, or it will depend on how you program that. And I will enjoy the same performance of DAX query that I have in the import mode. So really for me, it's a melange of the both mode, import and direct query, and it gives you some way better. I will no more need to wait 4 hours for the import mode to refresh my dataset. We are really talking about a couple of minutes, and I will like a direct query, and I will enjoy the same performance that I have in the import mode for DAX query.
And so it takes the best of the both methods and gives you through the caching. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And now let's say how to create a lakehouse. But before that, I will say that you have, when you create your, semantic model. But before that, when you create your lakehouse, you see you will have some semantic model by default. And as you can see, you cannot change it. You can play with it. You can only create a report on it. But you will have your SQL endpoint. As I said earlier, you can use it to connect third toolbar on it. And I will go, and as you can see, I can create some views, can make some change on it. And here I will just type a really basic SQL query, and I will execute it. So I have this web page. But I have, as you see in the right panel, I have in the model. You can come and not change your model, but make some relation, create as well some DAX measure, your default model, I mean. But it's not a
Yes.
great thing. Why? Because you will not have the admin access behind the scene. So that's why I will go and I will create my new semantic model. It will really more a best practice. Like that, I have the whole access. And for that, I can just switch a view just by clicking in this button.
Yes, I want to also make it clear to everyone that in here, as you can see, we had the experience of, let's say, SQL Server querying the SQL endpoint, and yet we are still on the same interface. I mean, and now with one click, we switch to the Lakehouse, we create a new semantic model, we choose our tables, we model the data on the same interface. No need to go through different tools again, different vendors, and different accesses.
Yeah,
This is
exactly.
really important. I need to highlight it each time because it's very clear.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can understand that. I agree with you. But as well, don't worry. You can use from Power BI desktop as well if you
Yes.
want to develop your model. You have a new connector, and it's directly from the Lakehouse. And I will show you here. You have a new storage mode that what we present earlier. It's a direct lake. And here I will start just to make some relationship, and I will show you the different way that we have to do the relationship. As you can see, you can create some different manage role, RLS, I mean, create calculation group, editing the table, as the same experience as you have in the
Yes.
Power BI desktop, not in the Power Query part, unfortunately, but after the Power Query part.
And earlier, before just the webinar, we talked about the importance of doing this to have efficient reports, to not have bottlenecks after all. So this is a step very, let's say, crucial for visualizing your data, and you can make it via the creation of the semantic model and creation of relationships.
Mhm. Exactly.
So this is like a mini data mart. No, it's a data mart, I believe, that we are modeling in here.
Mhm. Totally agree. And the great thing is you can, on the top of that, having different report that on it. So really, it's great. And with the caching system, it will load the data, only the column that you are using in your report. So really, it's cool and more efficient. And here, as I'll show you, I just click on the new report button, and up it will open a new window, new web page, sorry, and I start to do so beautiful report. Yeah, I'm a pro of UX, and you will see it just by
No worries.
yeah.
No worries.
So this is it. This is the way to use the semantic model, the way to bring data, transform data through notebook. You have as well as warehouse experience, so you can play with SQL, creating some store procedure, calling through data pipeline, for example, as well. And you have the data science part. You can play the notebook as well as we did, and you will have other play to train your ML model. And you have data activator. Unfortunately, we will not see it, but it's like it in each graph, it will create some alert for us.
Yes, and yes, for data activator, I mean, you can, as you said, trigger some alerts on any, let's say, thresholds that you make on a data point. And
Exactly.
this is really cool because you can have the notification on Teams, on your email address. I don't know, maybe if you can trigger some actions behind it, but it's very, very cool.
Exactly.
These features. But let's
exactly. Let's
yes.
say, for example, here I have my sum of sales amount, and if I say that my sum of sales amount is decreasing on this graph, I can set an alert and send me an alert to say your sales amount is under this value, and so on.
Yes. And now, I mean, we saw it's pretty much the workflow of a data analyst, and now this I think Microsoft Fabric also highlighted the fact, and we talked about this earlier, Copilot. I mean, how
Yeah,
can this make
exactly.
an end user life easier? Let's say I made the model for him, I made the data mart, and I don't have time to make the report. And as you said, me too, I'm not very good at doing reports. So what can we offer them with Microsoft Fabric?
Yeah, let's say we have the Copilot experience, and let's go to see an example on it. And here, as you can see, we have the option auto create report. As you can see, it's the report that it's the beautiful report that I create earlier on. And here you say that I'm data analyst, and I put this data set and I give the access to my citizens. And here, just by clicking see create an auto report, he will suggest me a new report. As you can see, just by clicking on view report, and behind scene is Copilot. And here, as you can see, I have report. I can save it. I can change it if it's not well suited for me. But it helps me. And the most thing that I like is when you see it's this narrative option. When I'm clicking in different graph, it will automatically re-updated and so on. So, and this option is only available alone. We can add it in any report that we created before. So really, for example, let's say you have an overview of report and you want to make a description of your report, you can use this narrative option, and or even include it into another way into a report like I did right now, and it explained me the number of different numbers that I'm showing. So really great option. And here I will show you another way, Copilot for Data Factory, to be more precise, Copilot for DataFlow Gen2. And here, yes, like you notice it, Aymen,
Yes, the
with your
Copilot.
lynx eyes, we have the Copilot. And here I will click on Get Data. And as you can see, you see it earlier, I will use OData connector, sorry, to bring some data, and and I will start to play Copilot. It's the only thing that you need first to do. Copilot cannot, maybe, let's say earlier, cannot bring data for you.
Okay, so just also to make clear, the previously shown report generated by Copilot, it's not the end result, it's a suggestion. I mean, you can
Yeah,
consider it as a base and edit it, and it can inspire you.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yes,
It can help you. You have as well Copilot in DAX. It can
yes,
help you to create some new measure in DAX, even complex one. I already tried it. Great thing. And here I already load the data. And as you can see, you have customer. We already saw DataFlow Gen2, the experience. And here I will show you the customer table. I will just filter as an usual developer. I will go to my colon country, and I will go and filter through USA. Let's say I want to keep only the USA country, and I will go and filter it just by the old way, if I can say that.
yes, the classic way.
Yeah, exactly, the classic way, totally. Up. And I'm citizens developer and so on. And here I will go and check the USA country. Let's move on just a little bit. Up here, see, I already did the USA country and it's filtering me. So let's start to play a little bit right now with Copilot. Here, as you can see in the right panel, I have describe and so on. And by clicking in customer table and by describe this query, as you see, it will describe me what we done in customers, the connector, the navigation panel, and the filter that I just did earlier. So let's imagine that I'm a developer. I need to debug this data flow for any region. This option is really helpful. It can explain me in a really quick way to understand what's going on behind the scene and read it and not do a retro engineering. And here I will create a join. I will match the two table order dates and order. And if you notice, I didn't even put any table. He will do it alone for us, and he will choose the right column. And obviously, I did it in English, but you can do it in any other language. No worries. You can play with French, with German, with other language. It will work as well.
So you didn't specify the key. You didn't specify what kind of joins, and Copilot has the understanding of figuring this out.
Exactly. And you will see in just a couple of seconds, he will create me a join query that I will rename later on US query. See, it already make me my join without doing anything. And now I will go, if I remember well, see, I will filter on country, USA. I just said filter on country USA. I even didn't precise which column is it. Maybe the column, it's not country, and we will see it.
Yes.
Just here.
I just add, you didn't say filter. You just said now keep country USA. I mean, he did understand that it needs to filter, which is great. I mean, you don't need to be a prompt engineer or artist of prompting. You just need to natural language as you are speaking with a friend. Or
Exactly. And as you can see, just here, it's filtering in ship country. He even recognized that in this table, I have ship country. He make these ships with my natural language, as you said before. Yes. And here, I will check that the filter action is already done. I will do some other stuff. For example, let's say I will make some sum on upon my quantity. I will group it by ship name and ship region, and I will rename my ship region into name and my ship name into name and my ship region into region. And see, he as well already did the sum for me. I didn't do anything for that. And for every time you can see what you are doing just by clicking here. You see the steps that you already done, and you can go in the query panel just here to see what's going on behind the scene, or even here in the query entity, and you have as well the advanced editor. So every time you can go and control what's going on and maybe see if the query is if the query is really optimized or not. So you still have the control. Really here, it's really here for helping us and having some gain of time in developer matter. And as you can see, I just renamed the quantity into sum, and I will here the thing that I like. I said he will create a new source for me because let's say my end user want to make analysis some with FIPS code, and I even don't know what's FIPS code, and and tap create a new source table with FIPS code, state name, and you will see he will do it for me, even that.
So she is generating data. I mean,
exactly.
Yes, that's what I think also of copilots. I mean, they are here to help us, to assist us, not to replace us.
Exactly.
This is a very nice thing to remember always. Also,
simplify our life.
Yes.
And here I rename my column. And I will create a new join again with my FIPS code to my US order query just there. Like that, I can make a full analyze of my order regarding the US country with the FIP code because it was the demand of my end user. And here I have my final query, and I will add one thing really that two things, that I like. The first thing is, as you can see, I have name just here. I will just move it in the left. I found much beautiful to have the name in the left, so we did it. And now the thing that I like is I will tell Copilot to add me some space in my colon, and he will find state name, FIPS code alone, and he will add really alone this space, and like that it will be more easier or more readable, if I can say that.
That is quite impressive, let's say.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I don't know
And
if there are any more questions except the one with the domain. I don't think so, but yeah, we can move forward.
Okay, so what we have if we add Microsoft Fabric, we will have this new experience that we don't have in Power BI. So by activating, we show that we will have different ways to load the data in our Microsoft Fabric, DataFlow Gen2, pipeline, uploading the data or through the netbook. We can as well bring our library and environment Spark. We can model, as we saw with our semantic model, or even before with making some notebook. We unfortunately didn't see the data science part, the warehouse part as well that is here, and we have the event stream, who people who know the real time, who play already with the real event stream, and we have the KQL database, and KQL query is ADX, Azure Data Explorer, the thing that is it's some database that is related to the real time as well.
Yes. Thank you very much, Amar, for this presentation, all these demos. I mean, this is quite impressive, and I hope for the viewers it didn't be too much at once, especially if they're having lunch, let's say. So yeah, so thank you once again, and I just want to summarize with telling that this webinar is for everyone, and this webinar is for everyone. It's not for just the tech guys. As you saw, Copilot, Microsoft Fabric is also for everyone, not all for data engineers. Microsoft Copilot allows us data engineers, data analysts, data scientists, end users, Power BI consumers, and Power BI developers to work on the same interface, which is quite impressive and quite, I don't want to use some words like revolutionary, but it's quite an evolution of what we used to. So yeah, I don't know if you have any questions. And if you have, please don't hesitate. As Amar said, we don't bite. We like to think we are the kind guys, but yes. And also don't forget, you can also always contact us as HumanTech and Microsoft for every issue on data governance, data management, data strategy, and even non-AI products. I think
so. Elodie is typing.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, I don't have any questions. Okay. So yeah, I think we should.
Yeah, we have some Q&A in the Q&A. Yes. I saw it. You mentioned.
Yes.
What does company have to take into consideration when they want to implement Microsoft Fabric? The workload, the different workload, for example, that you want to use, different community that you want to put on it, the security, which one need to have access. As I shown before, you can give access in the data engineering workload just for the team, the resource, how the number of resource, how the number of different workload, and so on. And for the citizens users, it depends. It depends. For example, you can create some community and in your enterprise, and this community will be led by some people, and these people will make some webinar as we are doing right now, and showing some beautiful report, how to do some report easily, and so on. It's one of the way, for example. So I hope I answered about the question.
Don't know if there are any more questions. Okay.
So,
well, thank you, everyone. Yes.
Thank you.
And thank you, Amar, for being here. And thank you,
everyone,
for
inviting
attending.
me.
Yes, and that was very much insightful, and hopefully we'll make another one on more advanced topics maybe.
Yeah,
Again.
with pleasure.
Yes. So yeah, goodbye everyone, and have a
Bye-bye.
nice evening. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you. Ciao.
Ciao.